Welcome back, everybody, to the Nevin Shapiro Fan Club Experience. I'm here back with Nevin Shapiro, and today is Fan Questions Part 3. We took in all your questions online that you guys wrote into us. We appreciate that. Please like, please subscribe before the video starts. We're dropping videos every week, and as always, let's get into the action. First question is from Jakins John 12345. Mr. Jakins, you wrote in a lot of questions, so I'm limiting you to 3 questions only to be able to get the rest. So here's the first one. Nevin, while this is a total fantasy, it's funny to think about. If Mario Cristobal sat down with you and asked you how you would go about things overall in order to win a national championship in the next few years, what would you tell him?
That's a great question. That becomes a an ego situation for both him and myself. I'm positive. I don't believe he thinks I would give him those answers. I think he's too proud to ask for those answers, and I'm too proud to make him a champion.
Let's just play a hypothetical game. Take the ego out. What would you tell him?
I want the best for the University of Miami, and that's the truth. You know
Yeah,
that,
I
right?
know that.
You know that, and you know the fans with their commentary and this and that. They got reasons to be suspect over me because of obviously the scandal situation. But the truth of the matter is, if I promised to deliver them a couple of national titles, would they take me back?
You know, it'd be stupid not to.
You
Yeah.
know. So I want the program to be great, man. There's too much resources down here. I've always said it. It's like the Saudis with oil, Miami with the studs. You know, the state of Florida is just rich in resources. I can't answer that as we sit here right now. I want the best for the program, though.
His second question is Nevin, who is your favorite head coach of all time?
Jimmy Johnson, by miles. Not even close. I loved Howard Schnellenberger. He would be second, and it'd be a close second, actually. Let me take that back. It wasn't by miles. Howard Schnellenberger was incredible. He would have done Nick Saban like things, Reese in Alabama, if he stayed at Miami. He ended up going to the USFL for a team that never even happened. And he really set it up for Jimmy in spectacular fashion. But Jimmy had a different edge that really just circled the wagons for some significantly talented kids with maybe some difficult backgrounds. And he just understands people, meaning Jimmy. And he was fucking years ahead of everybody, man. I actually he wasn't years ahead of everybody. Barry Switzer had that type of mentality. Jimmy Johnson conquered it though, but Barry Switzer was the original in that regard.
Did you interact with all? This is Jakin's last question. Did you interact at all with Nate Webster back in the day? Heard a lot of crazy stories about him at the U.
Yes, and true. I
Can you
love Nate.
divulge a little bit?
I can't really divulge. He's from Miami Northwestern. He's really representative of that U swag and everything that comes with it. Just a certified fucking headhunter, a certified assassin. And I'm not talking about whatever may have taken place off the field. He had served some time and whatever. As a football player, beast, nasty, nasty, top five nasty of all time, nasty,
Yeah, he was a dude.
nasty.
All right, this next one is from Nick_Green52. Why does Mario use the term alpha dog all the time when he hasn't won shit? A real alpha dog is like Nick Saban, Dabo Sweeney, Kirby Smart. In my opinion, you can't be an alpha dog if you can't make your conference championship. What are your thoughts on this?
We should have Nick 52 sit down with us because I couldn't have said it any better. Fuck. That guy's spitting what I see. Man, Nick_52. That's the best statement yet in this whole little gaff we put together. I mean, spot on.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking, you know what? We're sending Nick_52 a shirt. Fuck it. You
Okay.
can take one of mine. I don't know if it'll fit Nick, but man, you're sending him a shirt.
All right.
That's it.
It's Nick, you're getting a shirt.
I love it.
Yeah. When I saw it come in, I was like, oh my gosh, so funny because we were kind of like,
Alpha dog. This shit
yeah.
sounds so fucking gay. Go ahead.
What are your thoughts?
Man, he's right.
Yeah.
What are my thoughts? I just sent him a shirt.
Oh my gosh.
Do you guys really think I'm a clown? I mean, seriously, don't you do I seem like I make this shit up? Man, I'm really funny.
Nick has one other question. Is
He
the
should stop while he's ahead. He won the
Yeah,
shirt.
exactly, right? This is a non-Miami related question though.
Oh.
Is the movie you're making going to be a documentary or a movie like Wolf of Wall Street showing the crazy life you lived?
Initially, it was going to be a documentary. That still could happen. A documentary would lead into into a series, an unscripted series. Um, it's going to be the Wolf of Wall Street on steroids. I'm fairly certain of that. Are you?
Oh, I know.
You
Not
know,
even a question.
I mean, The Wolf of Wall Street was a great movie. Let me be clear. I'm no hater. I loved the movie. Hysterical. Leo DiCaprio's is top of the food chain. Martin Scorsese's top of the food chain. But I'm going to drop The Wolf of Wall Street in aisle two. He couldn't even touch where I'm going.
There you have it, Nick. Enjoy your shirt. I will be contacting you.
Send him two now.
All right, this next one's from Tyler or Ty Flanagan 5. If you, Nevin, were a high school 5-star recruit, what position do you think you would be playing, and what school would you go to right now that gives you the best chance to win a championship and make it to the NFL?
Well, do the math. I'd play quarterback and I'd come to the University of Miami.
Right now,
Right now, they're going to overpay you and you're a quarterback.
that makes total sense. Yeah, you'll make $10 million.
Cam Ward was underpaid. Carson Beck just got overpaid.
I guess you
So,
would have to be.
well, now Carson Beck's
Yeah.
setting the barometer. What if Carson Beck was the first quarterback and then Cam Ward was coming in? Would they be paying Cam Ward this kind of money? I don't know. He didn't come in as decorated. Listen, if you're an NIL guy and you're going and you're playing football, and I would say basketball too, why would you not want to be in South Florida? Is there a better place? The women are insane. Let's just like it's like living in Colombia, but you're in Miami. Watch the movie. There's nothing to think about. There's nothing to think about. Does Ohio State produce great wide receivers? They have been. Alabama's produced a ton of talent. But over the course of time, can anybody really match up with what the University of Miami's put out in the last 40 years? Just be honest. Be honest. Like if you're an LSU fan, be honest. Have you put some receivers out recently? Yeah, you've had some great receivers. You've had some really good defensive backs. Honey Badger, Patrick Peterson, who by the way was Patrick Johnson, who by the way was coming to Miami for 4 years till he wasn't. Derek Stingley rather. There's a number of schools that have put out some great talent, but like Miami's got it all. It's just got it all, man.
I'd say Alabama in the last 20 years.
If you want to live in
Yeah.
Tuscaloosa,
Yeah.
who wants to live in Tuscaloosa? I was locked up not far. They're still in the 60s. Ugh.
Yeah.
Good.
All right, this next question is from Boom Boom Bennett.
I love the name.
Yeah, Boom Boom Bennett. Do you have a Sean Taylor story that maybe no one has heard about? Legends never die.
I have a number of them. I would never share something that's inappropriate
No,
in
doesn't
honor
have
of
to
his
be.
name,
Yeah.
but I shared it. Here's one story. So, like Halloween, I lived in Miami Beach, so Halloween, it's like a real freak show on Lincoln Road
Mm-hmm.
in Miami Beach. I don't know how it is now because I don't live in Miami Beach any longer, but I've lived there my whole life. And Lincoln Road always had like one of those like eclectic type followings, weird stuff like sort of like Sobe in New York. And anyway, this was the 2000. This was the year we played Ohio State, and I had like probably 20, 25 of the guys come meet me, and we were just checking out people's costumes and what. I don't think any of us were wearing a costume, and all of a sudden I see this guy, this guy wearing Jason from Friday the 13th Mask with a machete, and he's walking down the street, and people are like really looking at this guy like, is that it? Anyway, it was Sean. He takes the mask off. I'm like, and you can't see he's wearing a mask. Man, that shit was so fucking funny because no one's wearing a costume, and this guy just comes walking up in a costume. He was just a free spirit in that regard, man. He was a beautiful kid, man. I loved him. I mean, that was just one of the saddest situations I ever experienced in my life. One of them. Brian Patta was another one, but that was just a terrible thing. But yeah, man, Sean was amazing. He was such a good kid. I had a Miss Pac-Man in my house, the stand-up machine, and he'd come over, man. He'd be playing with my little nephew for like 3 hours, literally 3 hours. Couldn't get him off that thing, and he was a sweetheart, man.
Yeah, it's
Sweetheart, yeah.
tough. Boom Boom Bennett has one more question. He said, when Brian Patta got killed, what was the vibe around the university? Was it more like, how did this happen? Or was it like, damn, this could have been someone inside as it turned out to be?
I remember it like it was yesterday. As a matter of fact, I'm about to do a podcast with ESPN regarding Brian's investigation. And in, I think like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, Metro Dade Homicide came to see me the next day because he was in my text messages and stuff. Man, that was such a black hole that the program was going through at that time. It was terrible. It was really the worst energy since I've been involved with the University of Miami. And I'm talking as a fan, as being any kind of involvement, a booster or whatever. It was, we had the FIU fight. I don't know if it was after that or right before. It was just one thing after. It was a really, really dark cloud, man, over the university. Far worse than my scandal situation. Far worse. That was like finality, life, loss of life. It was just really bad. It was a bad time. The worst that I can remember. It was terrible. So the answer to that question is there wasn't there was paranoia. There was paranoia. Guys were like, they had certain rules with guys couldn't have guns and whatever, and like there was a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that I had knowledge of, but it was a very dark time, the darkest.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I remember when it happened too. I was younger, but it was tough.
So
Yeah,
dark.
yeah.
Just felt like evil.
All right, this is our last question here. It's from D Ritchie 83. If you, Nevin, could make a coaching staff of only X players from any time, what would your coaching staff look like?
Great question. I'm going to give you just the best answer, the most honest answer. I don't know who the coaching staff would be, but I could tell you who the GM would be, and it would be Alonzo Highsmith. And I'm 5,000% positive that that coaching staff will be built to succeed, both with acumen, football acumen, and Miami acumen, because it's a special place and it's a different place. Reggie Wayne would definitively be my wide receivers coach along with Lamar Thomas. I'd have dual. One's about to be Hall of Famer, and the other is a Hall of Famer. And I wouldn't say one guy's more deserving over the other. I think they both know the position extensively well and
They would complement each
and
other.
the landscape.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about, well, who has money to pay two receivers coaches, Miami does. If you're paying Carson Beck 11 million or whatever the number is, you can bring in a Hall of Fame NFL Hall of Famer and a University of Miami Hall of Famer, right? You want the best, right? Defensive line, I don't know what his skill set is because he hasn't been doing it long, but Warren Sapp's a Hall of Famer. So I'm not going to throw D. Lou out of the way, but I'm going to add Sapp to the staff. So I would say D. Lou stays, Sapp comes in. And by the way, let me go back because I don't want to disrespect Kevin Beard. Kevin Beard is also a receivers coach. So I'm not saying he goes. I'm just saying if we're shaking it up, that's how I'm going.
Right.
Just to be clear. Offensive line, I would leave a decision like the offensive line to a guy like Alonzo Highsmith, who knows. Running backs coach, close your eyes, throw a dart at the board, whoever you land on, they're hired. Secondary, Ed Reed. How's that for starters? Benny Blades, except My problem with Benny is he's stuck in what the hitting rules used to be. So I think our targets would be over the top too much. But like, does someone know more football than that guy? Linebackers, Vilma's would be an incredible coach. John Beeson would be an incredible coach. Ray Lewis is obviously would be an incredible coach. Jesse Armstead, it's a thousand. I mean, man, there's so many. God, there's so many. Man, we're the U, man. This is what the fuck we do. We got legends, man. Hall of Fame legend, Canton, Ohio legends, greatest of all time legends. Not guys that were good in college, the best ever.
Who's your quarterback's coach?
You know, Dorsey's been fired a few times, and that concerns me. But I still think he's as knowledgeable and skilled as anybody. You know, Cam Newton, excuse me, was, I believe, played underneath
Yep.
Dorsey.
Yep.
You know, and he was fucking ultra successful, MVP year. Man, there's so many guys. God, there's so many guys, and that's what's disgusting. You know, I know this isn't a Miami show other than the questions, but like that's what is really frustrating when it gets to Mario. You know, people comment to me all the time about like, yo, what's your? I don't have hate for Mario, not at all. My relationship with him was amazing, amazing. Why would you not tap into the resources that are available at your fingertips, right?
Yeah.
Like if
He doesn't
you
even allow them to go on the
like if
sidelines.
you were running a financial business and you had access to Elon Musk or Warren Buffett and they want to help, but you don't use their help. That's the same way I look at Mario. Like, bro, you got the fucking greatest players of all time. What would keep you from hiring them? And not only what would keep you from hiring them, look who's coaching in front of them. I don't know. Let the fans answer that question. For those people that think I don't know, like some guy says I pull shit off the internet, man, I don't even know how to get on the internet. I'm a
And if
fuck.
you watch our Benny Blades episode, you could see Benny talks about this, and he says, when I go to UM, sometimes they'll put me in a corner, in like a little box.
Yeah, and
It
it's not,
won't.
like I don't want to get into the ragging session. I was just using it as an example. If you
Yeah,
have such resources, why would you not tap into those resources? Just why? What's your legitimate answer to that question? What? Well, they don't have experience. Yeah, they do. They're the best of all time in the fucking annals of time at that respective position. Their plaque says so.
they're going to be able to see things that others can't see because they were in the trenches. They were in
Not
the
plaque. They're
battles.
bust. Their bust says so. Their head's in Canton, Ohio for life, long after we're gone. You know, that's my response. And if any Miami fan out there does not like these comments, you're just an absolute hater and a moron and an idiot and just in your own way. What did I say that's not accurate? Please point it out.
There's nothing to, I mean, it's just, it boils down to common sense. How do you not use these guys? It really
I
does.
can't give you the running
Yeah.
backs coach. Running backs coach.
You said
All right,
throwing
hold on.
dart. Yeah. All right.
Frank Gore, McGahee, Portis, Edgerrin James. I mean, I'm just starting there. Highsmith can't be the running backs coach because he's the GM.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are you looking at? Like, what are you thinking about? Here's your answer. Oh, wide receivers coach? Maybe Andre Johnson feels like coaching. I mean, bro, you got Hall of Famers across the yard.
All right, let's close with this. Tight ends coach, last
Defensive
one.
line, Vince Wilfork. Oh, he's not going to be a good selection. Tight ends coach? I don't know. Shockey's a little bit nuts. I don't know if he'd be able to be consistent enough as a coach. I would hope he could be. Jimmy Graham, Kellen Winslow's tied up for a little bit. Um, man, you know what we do, man.
Yeah.
Man, there's so many fucking dudes out there. You can name 300 guys.
And they all want to come back. When we talk to these guys, they want nothing but to come back.
Yeah,
It's insane.
yeah.
It's
I mean,
insane.
listen, as it relates to me, this thing's gonna go one of two ways. I'll still rep them no matter what. You're never gonna hear a bad word from me ever again, as it relates to the University of Miami. Ever. I'm getting older. I'm not, a young kid anymore. So, I've seen the highs for that program. I've experienced it as a fan and as an, involved booster.
Yeah.
So I've already seen what it looks like, you know. these guys that comment have never seen it.
So again, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the show today. Fan questions part 3. We'll do another fan questions part 4, I'm sure, within the next month or so. So drop all your questions. If you have any more, drop them on the
I love
page.
answering these. And
Yeah,
make sure that guy gets his shirt, man.
I will. Nick Green, you're gonna get a shirt.
Man, I'm telling you, hook that dude up, man. That was a fucking great one.
Yeah, that was when I saw that come in. I was laughing to myself.
Get that guy here.
We'll put him on the show.
Get him
We'll have him
here.
sit here on the
Get him
show.
here, man.
Please like, please subscribe to the page. Click that subscribe button before you leave. And as always, we'll catch you on the next one.